Hello. Hi, guys. Hello. Wait. Can you guys see me? Hello. If you guys can see me, hi. Welcome to my live session. If there's anybody on, say hello. I'm really excited to do this. This is my first attempt at going live. I can see one person is watching. If there's anybody else and the one person watching, feel free to say hello. Tell me who you are, where you're watching from. Let's interact. I'm presenting this from the UK. My name is Lulu. And if you've just fallen across this live by accident, welcome. Don't be a stranger. Say hello, let's talk. I normally just drop videos. I usually don't go live, but there's always a first time for everything. So we are going to be discussing something quite exciting, helpful. So don't be shy to say hello. And of course, it's live, but there'll be a recording. Hello. Hi, Manny. Hello. How are you? If you feel like this video would help anybody, feel free to share. Like I said, I'm not in the habit of going live. I normally do pre-recorded videos, but I thought I'm feeling a bit generous today with my time. And how better than to spend it with you guys on a Sunday evening. If you're in the UK, the time has gone backward, so we've gained an hour. So it's 7 p.m. on a Sunday, and I've got something really exciting to share with you guys today. And I'd love for you to share the video and join. Manny, where are you watching from? If you don't mind me asking. Tell me where you're watching from. Anybody else who joins, don't be shy to say hello. There are a few videos I've recorded for you guys, which I'm editing. I have been behind this week. Life has been extremely busy, but yes, life in the UK is not for the faint-hearted. Oh, hi from the UK. Nice. I hope you've changed your clock. Realize that the times have gone backwards. It's really cold today. Yesterday was cold as well. And if you can share the video, Manny, I'll appreciate that. So anybody else watching. I'm going to talk about money today. How we can make money, how we can be in better jobs. Let's not all flock to where everybody else flocks to. Care jobs, maybe cleaning jobs, admin jobs. Let's think out of the box and look for where the real money is. So I'm sharing some exciting and very helpful information that a lot of us immigrants will benefit from. So I'll give it a few more minutes and we'll welcome a special guest. I don't want us to mess about for too long. People will join when they're free, when they're able. And somebody else has joined as well. Hello. Hi. I've never interacted with you guys before. I've always planned to do a live session, but I know that people are very busy and it's hard to create time. So voila, this is me today. Any questions that you guys have been wanting to ask, I'm here today, but I'm here for a purpose. So like I said, I'll give you 2 more minutes and we'll introduce a special guest to tell us more on how to enhance our careers, how to make more money. It's about money most times, isn't it? That's why we're here. Okay, that's why we're here, to make a decent living of ourselves. So where's the other person watching from? Where in the UK, Manny? Are you from the north, west, south? The UK is quite broad. Just keen to know where you're watching from, Manny, and whoever else we've got. Yes, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our guest. He's not a stranger on this channel, but he might be for some, but others might never have met him before. He's special and is one of the few people who, oh, from the South, hi. Hi. One of the few people who have actually spent time to understand the ecosystem, the topology of the country, how it works, in terms of the careers that there is a gap in the market. And we keep moving, the country keeps moving the goalposts on how to make a decent living. And so people have cracked the code on exactly where to place themselves at the right time. And Adeza is one of those people. So I'm going to get him to introduce himself by himself in a minute. I'll bring him on. We'll have 3 people watching. Please, like I said, this is my first live session. I tried to announce it yesterday, but I don't know if you guys saw the link. But if you're watching, please say hello. I want to know where you're watching from, who you are. I always call you guys my silent friends because it's been one of those channels where I just talk. People contact me anonymously and I share. I've developed friends, family by just sharing my life experience. And live sessions are good to get a bit more interaction. A lot of you are constantly asking me questions. Today might just be that day that you can have them answered. But in the meantime, I'm going to bring our special guest because it's been 5 minutes since we started. And yes, I'll just add him now.
Hi, Lulu.
Hello. Hi. How are
How you
you?
doing? I'm very well, thank you. How you doing today?
Good. Always a pleasure to see you.
Absolutely, same here. How's Lens? The time has changed. You've gained 1 hour in the UK today.
Honestly, I slept this morning and I thought, why am I so energized? And I realized that I slept 1 extra hour. So it's good.
it's
Yeah.
always it's always great. Good to be
So
here today to share with your audience. Always a
yes.
pleasure.
Yes, I know you don't need introduction here, but you never know the new people who will be joining. So, and this video will be live available. So, can you introduce yourself? I don't think I'll do you justice. So, you tell us who you are, where you're from, where you're currently, and I'll move on from there.
All right, absolutely. So my name is Adeza Suleiman. I'm a technology expert with over a decade experience cutting across management consulting and data analytics. And like so many people, I started my career as a management consultant. And my first degree was in industrial chemistry. So nothing related to tech, nothing related to computer science. Over the last decade, my focus has been on helping companies across the globe with their digitalization and helping them make sense of the data that they have. I've worked across different regions. I've worked in Nigeria, working for one of the largest privately owned energy conglomerates, Sahara Power Group, as a management information systems analyst. I've worked as a data science consultant back when I was in Nigeria, working for companies in the US, working remotely, which is part of what I'll talk about today. I've worked in the UK as a data science consultant. I've worked as a customer insights analyst. And I've also worked in the financial services sector with one of the organizations owned by the Bankers Committee and the Central Bank of Nigeria as a data analytics consultant. My experience spans across 5 different sectors, from energy to sports to financial services, educational technology, and so on and so forth. Now, the focus for me over the last 5 years, using Tenalytics as a driver, is to help more people and other people like me to also make that same transition. And over the last 5 years, we've helped over 3,000 people across different regions to transition from non-technology background into career path within the tech ecosystem. We've helped accountants become data analysts. We've helped care workers become business analysts, data scientists, and so on. And I'll be sharing some of these amazing success stories with every single one of you today. I currently reside in Alberta, Canada. And yeah, that's where I'm helping organizations here as well to also digitalize and make sense of the data that they have, come up with a data strategy, and so on and so forth.
Wonderful. I already said it that there was no way I could have introduced you and done it justice. Your experience spans
Yeah.
across different industries. And I think when I introduced you before in my own naive, shallow way, I said that a few people have cracked the code living abroad, especially as an immigrant, to
Yep.
understand how to place yourself to be attractive enough is a skill that I know only few people can master like yourself. So again, thanks for being on our channel. And if you're watching, there's
Pleasure.
5 of you. Hello, hi Odiago. Let's keep this interactive, please, so that it doesn't feel like I'm talking to a computer because it'll feel really boring. So if you've got any questions while we start, please feel free. It'll be very informal, as I said. We just want to be able to share today things that you would wish you knew maybe 5, 10 years from now. Information is power, and it's the only tool that we have, and it's most expensive to get when we get it through the formal means. So if we have somebody sharing the knowledge for free, get your paper and your pen, sit comfy, get a good drink, a warm one. Let's start, okay? And good. I've got mine as well, but yeah. I will just start by asking you a few questions. I'm sure, as I said, if anybody has any questions while we are live, feel free to add. But I would want to ask you that what was your drive? What initially brought you? I know that you're currently in Canada, but you've
Yes.
lived in the UK. What made you leave
Yes.
your home country and come to the UK? What's your backstory briefly before we start?
All right. Absolutely fantastic. So, first things first was to simply grow in my career and to make more money, essentially. So, the major driver for me leaving Nigeria to move to the UK was the co founder of Tenalytics, Efemena. So, in 2019, Efemena had left Nigeria. He moved to Ireland and he had started working with DPD, one of the largest logistics delivery companies, just like your UPS and so on. So
Yeah.
he worked with them as a warehouse, operative. That was his first job with them when he moved to Ireland. But within the same organization at DPD, a role became available, right? A business intelligence developer role became available. And because Ifemena and I decided to transition the same time into data analytics. We learned together, we learned Excel, we learned Tableau, we learned all the different tools, Power BI, and so on, before he left Nigeria. So he had the same set of skills that I had. And we
Okay.
kept communicating even after he had left the country. So he applied to that role, even though he was a warehouse operative at that time. And he got the opportunity to interview. And they were blown away that somebody who was in the warehouse had the
Yes.
skills and could respond, could solve the case study they gave him during the assessment center in the interview. And eventually he got that job. So and he was telling
Wow.
me about it. And he said, look, Adeza, you need to come abroad. You need to leave Nigeria. You need to move. He wanted me to move to Ireland at that time. And I didn't want to leave because I had left the financial services sector and I had moved to the energy sector. So I was earning significantly more back in Nigeria. So I felt I was earning a lot of money, right? And he asked me to send him my payslip, which I did. I sent him my payslip and he said, this is something you'd make in about a week working in the UK. And I think that was the game changer for me. And I said,
Wow.
no, I think it was time for me to leave Nigeria and move abroad. So he left Ireland, he moved to the UK, he started working with Teleflex at that time. And then I decided to leave Nigeria to move to the UK as well. And like I said, the major focus for me at that time was how do I expand and grow in my career as a data analyst, and at the same time, how do I make more money, more buck for the work that I do. And
Gosh.
here I am,
Wow.
help after moving, helped within the last 5 years, helped over 3,000 people who were also trying to move, just like myself, to also make the transition into the tech ecosystem.
That's where they say that your network is your net worth.
Absolutely. And I was telling somebody the other day that if a man I was a care worker, perhaps today I'd be a care worker. If it was a nurse, I'd probably be a nurse today. If it was doing something else. So the people you interact with,
Yes.
especially when you just move into a new country or before you move to that country, are very crucial and can actually determine the trajectory of your career eventually. So that was my trajectory eventually. And I
It,
mean, here I am today.
it is when they look at his story, they say when destiny meets hard work, or like when
Absolutely.
purpose meets hard work? What are the chances of you leaving your, I don't know, factory or very blue collar job to
Yeah.
being where he is today? So yeah, that's a fantastic story. And I keep saying that once there's life, there's hope, there's knowledge, there's always a change possible. Wow.
Absolutely.
Just another not last, but another question that I had in mind is what would you tell somebody watching today who keeps hearing about tech jobs and it's so generic? And I know
Yeah.
that we've speak on this in the past. It doesn't mean anything if you don't really know what you're looking for. You
Yeah.
don't really know the routes to entry and you don't know how to make it work being an immigrant. No, that's
Yeah.
about three loaded questions in one. But what would you tell any of our brothers or sisters watching now
Yeah.
on how to make the pivot?
Yeah, two things, two very important things. Okay. The first thing is go gain knowledge,
Okay.
research about the ecosystem. Tech is very broad and people use the word loosely, tech. But where exactly, what specific career path within the tech ecosystem would better suit you, looking at your past experience, your background, and so on and so forth. There is something for everyone eventually. And for some people, tech might not be where they would get, the best value in terms of extract the best value of their investment eventually. So gain the knowledge, speak to people that are already within the space, understand the ecosystem. You heard your friend, somebody got a job as a data analyst, business analyst, and so on. Don't just jump into it because somebody got a job. Ask questions, understand the ecosystem, and then you make an informed decision. Where are the opportunities in the tech ecosystem? Things are
Yes.
shifting and changing in the UK, changing in the US, across different regions. But where are the opportunities? Okay,
Yeah.
so that's number one, gain knowledge. Number two, it is usually more difficult on paper than it is in the real world. Okay, so a lot of people think when they hear tech or they hear jobs within the tech ecosystem, they think it is far beyond them. They can never get that type of job. We've had bakers, people who were bakers back in Nigeria, they moved to the UK. Today they are business analysts. We've had farmers become data scientists. We've had people who had zero knowledge, just like me. I studied industrial chemistry. So people ask me the question all the time. I studied industrial chemistry. The co-founder of Tenalytics, Efemena, studied economics. The person that encouraged me to move to the UK studied economics. Our first job right out of the university was as management consultants in a company within the financial services sector owned by the CBN. So we didn't have the skills, the
Yeah.
prerequisites, or anything. But what
Yeah.
did we do? Because the tech ecosystem is a heavily skill based ecosystem.
Okay.
Anybody can learn the skill as
Okay.
long as you know how to learn, you know
Okay.
where to learn, and you know how to showcase what you know. You will find your way within, different jobs across different regions, and that's what we've done, and that's how we've helped over 3,000 people like ourselves also make similar transition. So gain the knowledge, number one, and number two, ensure that you don't just know about the career path you're moving into, but you want to get close to people,
Yes.
proximity,
Yeah.
proximity to the people that will help you open your eyes to the areas you really don't have any knowledge about, and then you can start to move in. It's not as difficult
As it's made
as
to
it
sound.
sounds. Yes,
It's
absolutely.
interesting you said that, and I'm not trying to doubt it, but it sounds a bit too good to be true. And I know that we have a lot of testimonials, especially
Yes,
after we
absolutely.
met the last time.
Yep.
So I don't doubt you at all. I'm just encouraging anybody who think, yeah, right. Oh, yeah,
Yep.
right. It depends on how serious you are and how
Yeah,
determined you are
absolutely.
to achieve what you need to. In other words,
Yep, absolutely.
yeah. Okay, wonderful. So there's another last thing that I want to ask is in this climate today, would
Yes.
you say that there are opportunities for visa? Because that's the thing that will be in people's minds.
Yep.
The system keeps tightening the rules, but there are people still thriving. There are people traveling every day to come and do these tech jobs. Or class them. I know that will break it further down. But what
Yep.
would you say would help if you were either based here or back home and you're trying to make sure that once you train, you're able to settle and get a job that possibly could sponsor you like everybody's looking for?
Yeah. So again, you have to know where the opportunities are. So what career path or what jobs are eligible for the skilled
Okay.
worker visa for those who want to, apply to get the skilled worker visa. So you need to know the career path. Okay. That's on the one hand. Then today, it's more difficult for companies to sponsor. All right.
Okay.
And I asked people the question that imagine you have a company in the UK. It's more expensive today, about 42% increase in the cost of sponsoring one single employee for any organization deciding to sponsor. You also have a minimum salary threshold of about 41,700 for that role to also qualify for sponsorship. So employers would not just hire anybody. They want to hire the best of the best and
Yes.
ensure that they would hire somebody who would add tremendous value to them. So the question is, do you have the skills? Are you valuable to that company? And if you are, how do you show the company that you are valuable? So you have a lot of people, and I've met so many people who are highly intelligent, very good, but they have nowhere to showcase their skills. They don't know how to show an employer that they are the best candidate for that job. Okay, so it's a methodical step of how you learn the skill, and I call it project-based learning, which simply means project-based learning, which simply means learning by actually doing the job.
Yes.
So if you're going to get a job as a business analyst, as a cybersecurity analyst, you learn cybersecurity by doing cybersecurity.
Of
A lot
course.
of people learn the tools and the technologies. They know how to use Splunk, they know how to use Excel, Power BI, but getting good at that job is not by learning the tools and technologies,
Of
but
course.
learning how to solve problems within that space using those tools and technologies. So you only learn by doing the job, and that's the best way to learn. So once
Wow.
you've done that, then you need to showcase. Okay,
Okay.
a lot of people don't know how to showcase their skills. So it's not
Okay.
just about posting on LinkedIn. Yes, LinkedIn is a major, is a key factor to you succeeding and you showcasing your skills. But you also need to build a warehouse. I call it the portfolio. Build a warehouse where all the work you've done, all the things you've accomplished, you warehouse them there. So if Lulu, for example, wants to sponsor or wants to hire a candidate, Lulu doesn't need to speak to me directly. She can see the work that I've done and she gets confidence that this person knows the job because they've done it before. They have evidence that they've done it, and I would like to speak to you. Now, when I get the opportunity to speak to Lulu, I don't want to go in there and fumble and make a mistake because I'm not sure how to interview, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
you want to have somebody who has done that job before,
Okay.
somebody who understands the terrain, understands the sector, the industry, to walk you through and prep you for that interview. Okay, and these are the things. I have a full-blown presentation. I'm going to walk through this and
All
show
right.
you categorically, step by step, what you need to do. So it's all about how you learn the skills, how you showcase your skills, how you also build your employability skills from interviewing to having the right CV to get you into the door. If you have all of that and you do that, it's just a matter of time. For some people, it takes 3 months, and I'm going to share that. For some, 4, 5, some take 1 year. Okay. But looking at an average, it's an average of about 5 to 6 months. You can pivot and transition into a new career path following the process. Now, I just want to say something very quickly. I said it's more difficult on paper than it is in the real world, right?
Yeah.
However, that doesn't mean it's easy.
Okay.
Okay, if it were
Yes.
that easy,
Let's put that out there.
everybody,
Everybody will be doing it.
absolutely, everybody would be doing it, right? So
Yes.
it's those that we have seen that have succeeded tremendously, the 3,000 plus people. One thing or two things are common between them. Number one is commitment. So they are committed to the journey. It's an 8 month learning journey, 6 months learning, 2 months internship. Okay. And I'm going to speak about that as well. So
Okay.
they
I'll let you do
commit to
that then.
that. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'll go ahead and share my screen.
Please do.
I'll try as much as I can to keep this within 1 hour.
Okay.
Okay. So just for those coming back to watch the video later, so you understand clearly how you can start to make the transition, what to focus on, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
Okay.
So just
So
before
yeah,
I'll share, just hello for those of you watching. Let's keep this interactive. Tell me where you're watching from. If you've got any questions, this is the expert. So bring all of your questions, and hopefully we'll get to the point where he can answer. So
absolutely. Okay. So there are four things I would show today. Okay. Number one is how to choose the right career path, the high demand jobs, just like you asked. And if you remember when you asked me the question, what would you advise anybody? I started by saying what? Knowledge. So research, understanding. So how do you choose or select a high demand career path that is eligible for sponsorship? Okay. How do you learn the skills? Because the way people learn or how you learn determines if you get that job. Okay. I made the mistake myself 12 years ago when I was transitioning, myself and Efemena. We made mistakes.
okay,
In fact, if I think about it, I still feel very frustrated today that I wasted so much time. So I did what everybody does today: go online, try to figure it out on my own. But I took so long because I didn't have a constructive curriculum. Number one, I didn't have somebody who could guide me and say, you don't need to bother with this. It's not relevant right now. Focus on this, focus on that. So how you learn is also very key. Okay. And I'm going to talk to you about that as well. And of course, I'll show you how to gain experience. You don't just gain experience by getting a job. You can gain experience even though you don't have a job. Okay.
okay,
And I'll show you how to do that because employers are looking for candidates that would not just show, that would not just tell, rather, you don't just tell them what you can do, or in the interview, you speak so good about yourself. You need to show them.
of
Okay, it's
course.
not about what you can do, but it's about what you have done. All right. And of course, finally, how and where to apply. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that as well. And that's how you position yourself.
Okay,
Okay. And there is a massive window of opportunity. You spoke about that when you asked the question the other time. Companies today are scrambling to close out their 2025 hiring gap. So for companies that haven't closed out their hiring for the year, they are rushing to do that before the end of this year. So usually Q4 and Q1 in a new year are usually the high traffic period for candidates to easily land a job. So
okay,
competition usually explodes in the new year, and you want to ensure that you position yourself to start getting those type of opportunities. When you start, how soon you start upskilling to prepare for that time also becomes very important.
okay,
Tightening of immigration laws in the UK, so many immigration policies right from July this year and so on. Even last year, different immigration laws have been tightened to reduce the number of immigrants coming into the country and so on and so forth. What this does is it also creates opportunities for those who are even not within the country. So more remote jobs are available in the US, for example, even though now they are, refining that policy, not a policy, but when Trump mentioned that $100,000 for a company to sponsor or petition for a H-1B visa for an employee,
okay,
it used to cost about $200 plus, but now it's $100,000. Okay. So what that means is a lot of companies won't have the financial muscle to petition or sponsor H-1B visas for their employees anymore. What would happen? Those jobs will be shipped abroad. Okay. So if you're back in Nigeria, you're back in Ghana, South Africa, wherever you are, you stand a chance of getting those type of jobs if you have the right skills. So even though immigration laws are tightened, the opportunities still within those countries. And it would also create a pathway for remote jobs for those outside the country. And finally, I talked about skill based learning. All
okay,
right. So you want to get into career paths that are skill based, where it doesn't matter what you've done before. You learn the skills, you practicalize the skills, you showcase the skills, and you get noticed and you can transition into those roles. So companies today are focused. They don't care what you studied before. I studied industrial chemistry. All through my career, I've worked in the data ecosystem, from a data analyst to a data scientist, management information systems analyst, and so on. That is what a skill-based career path does for you. You can transition. Lawyers today are business analysts. Nurses today are healthcare data and reporting analysts, and so on. And this takes me to an amazing story of William. I like telling William's story because a lot of people can relate to William. William was a civil engineer back in Nigeria. Okay. He studied civil engineering and he got the opportunity to move to Poland
Okay.
for his masters. But while he was, doing his masters, he realized very quickly that I would struggle to get a job in civil engineering, in construction, simply because from his conversation with HR professionals across different career fairs, he realized that you need to know how to speak Polish to get a job in construction. How long will it take me to learn Polish? So what he did was he came to us and he spoke to us. He joined something we call the clarity session. Okay.
Okay.
Again, you need the knowledge so you know the career path to choose. So he came to us, booked a free clarity session. We had a conversation, and eventually he realized that he could get into data analytics. Okay. So he decided to join. So William joined us last year while he was still doing his master's. And this is what I always advise people. You don't want to wait until you are done before you start figuring out your career. You can figure out your career even while you're still doing your master's. So
Okay.
William joined our data analytics program last year in January while he was still doing his master's in civil engineering. And guess what? September last month, William landed a job as a strategy analyst with Marsh McLennan in Poland.
Amazing.
From absolutely amazing, from construction, civil engineering to a data analyst role. Okay, we're going to hear from William. I'm going to play, you listen to what William has to
Wow.
say. But before I do that, I want to quickly go to William's profile. Okay, so let's have a look at, and of course, I have the link on my slides. I'm going to share the link as well. William Patrick. He made a post when he got the job. Let me go to the post. Just give me 1 second.
While you're doing that, just to say hello to everybody, and I've pinned a link to the community. If you want to gain more insights, please feel free to click on that link that is pinned if you're watching this on repeat or if you're live. Go over to you, Adiza.
Absolutely. So that's William Patrick when he got the job. I'm excited to share that I've officially joined Marsh McLennan as a strategy analyst. This is somebody who was doing his master's in construction. Last year, he decided I was going to learn data analytics skills. And today, he's helping this company in the financial services sector in Poland analyze data, extract insights, and help them make data-driven decisions. All right. And so if you go to William's profile, I'm going to go there very quickly, and I want to show you something. One thing that you would see is, William, you both worked at Tenalytics. Okay. I'm going to come back to explain what that means and why it's important for you to have this right here on your profile. So this is Williams. This is his profile. And you would see data analyst with Tenalytics last year, January 2024. That was when he joined. And he just started this job in October this month after getting the offer last month. And if you look at his core skills, what does he do for them? He analyzes performance data. He develops and maintains dashboards and reports and so on. So using tools like Excel, like Power BI, Tableau to help them make data-driven decisions. And that was what William did, made the decision, joined a session like this, booked a clarity call, understood how to pivot, and he started learning the skill. So how did William learn? What did he learn? What was the environment like? How did somebody like William make that transition? Okay. I would also talk about Judith very quickly, and then I'll go back to helping you selecting the right career path. Judith she was a carer in the UK. Okay. So like Judith's story is quite interesting. She dropped her daughter off. She went to drop her daughter, at school on a morning, and she met a friend, Tolu. And Tolu was telling her that, oh, I just got a new job. I'll be starting next week and so on. And Judith was asking, oh, what job did you get? What's the role? And she said a data analyst role. And she was surprised because they were both carers. How did you get a job as a data analyst? And she told, "Oh, I joined Analytics. I completed my program. I got a job." Told her about us essentially. So Judith looked for us. She searched for us online, went on Instagram and so on, and then she, booked a clarity session, and we had a conversation. And Judith joined our business analysis program.
Wow.
Okay. Now, she wanted more than just being a carer. She said it was too stressful for her at that point. So she completed her program last year in March 2024. And 3 months after completing in July last year, she got a job as a business analyst. But here's the kicker: she didn't get a job as a business analyst in the UK. She got a job remotely working for a company in the US. Now,
Oh,
Judith did not need sponsorship, so she didn't worry about that. So she could get a job anywhere.
yeah.
The beauty about working for a company in the US is your salary usually is at least times two of your counterparts in the UK. So Judith is earning phenomenal salary. And it started from just a conversation with a friend, at her daughter's school, who said,
Wow.
"I learned here and I was able to get a job. I transitioned. So go give them a shot." And that's Judith's story. There's a full interview with Judith. I can't play it, it's very long. But
Okay.
again, I've kept all the links right here. So the link to this slide will be pinned, I think, in the description.
Yes.
Elijah would send that across. So anybody watching can download. You can watch all these videos and listen to these amazing professionals. All
Okay.
right. So, like I said earlier, the career path you choose will determine if you get a job. The gentleman, Patrick, data analytics; Judith, business analysis. So, how do you then choose the right career path? Now, for us at Analytics, we know that there are so many career paths in the tech ecosystem, and it's easy to offer different programs in different areas, but we tailored the career path we focus on. And the reason why we do that is simply we carry out a job board analysis. So we scrape data from the major job boards, from LinkedIn, Glassdoor, CV Library, read.co.uk, Workopolis, ZipRecruiter, the major job boards across different platforms, different regions. And we look for the jobs that recruiters are hiring for, the high demand jobs. So what jobs have the highest frequency of, recruitment? We look at that and we have that analysis and we keep that somewhere. But we don't stop there, because we know that we cannot do the analysis in a silo. So we look at organizations, reputable organizations that can validate the analysis we've carried out. So is there any organization that has carried out similar analysis? So we look at the World Economic Forum. The World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report clearly shows you the career path that would grow, that are in demand today, that would grow in demand, and the career path that would decline in demand. Again, this report is released every 2 years. The latest was released in January this year. And again, the link is here. Okay. So anyone can have access to click on that, download the report, read the report, and I'll show you the page to focus on. I'm going to go to that page and show you. Now, when we looked at the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report and where the world of work was headed, we saw that it aligned with the analysis we had carried out here in terms of the number of the jobs with the highest frequency of demand. Then we take it a step further. We distill it down to the specific regions. In the UK, we look at the eligible occupations for the skilled worker visa. In the US, we look at the job titles with the highest H-1B acceptance rates. In Canada, for example, we look at the provincial nominee programs and the career path that would give you accelerated pathway to provincial nomination. Now, across these three different broad analyses, we came up with 8 career paths that if you find yourself in any of these 8 career paths, you will not just be high in demand, you would also have access and be eligible for visa sponsorship, no matter where you are, if you're in the UK, in the US, in Canada, across Europe, and so on. And these are the career paths. So this is the point where you take out a pen, you take out a notepad, and you take down this career path. Okay. Now, the business analyst, the data analyst career path, the data scientist, the agile project manager, the Scrum Master, the data engineer, the cybersecurity analyst, the HR analyst, and last but not the least, the financial analyst. Now, if you look at the World Economic Forum, and I'm going to go there very quickly, just to show you, you'd find out that so this is the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report. Anybody thinking of transitioning today, or if you want to stay relevant over the next 5 to 10 years, you should be reading this report. All right. So the latest
Going
was
to have
released.
that. Are we going to have
Yes,
that report?
absolutely, absolutely. So I want you to go to page 21. If once you've gotten this, I want you to focus on page 21. It shows you the jobs that would grow and the jobs that will decline over the next 5 years. Okay. Now, the left hand side predominantly have the jobs that are in demand today and the jobs that will keep on growing. And the right hand side are the jobs that will decline in demand. Now, on top of the list, you'd see the big data specialist. The data, these are jobs within the data space. You'd see the AI machine learning specialist. The machine learning specialist is a data scientist.
Okay.
All right. You'd see the security management specialist. This is a cybersecurity professional. You'd see the data warehousing specialist. This is a data engineer. All right. You'd see clearly indicated here the data analyst, the data scientist. Okay. I'll just expand this a little bit more so that
Yeah. So we
it's
can
very
see.
bold. Okay. So you'd see the data analyst, the data scientist, the information security analysts. These are cybersecurity professionals. You'd see the data engineers. All right. You'd see if I scroll down a little bit more, you'd keep on seeing the same roles I just highlighted to you. Let's scroll down a bit more. You'd see the database architects. These are data engineers. The business intelligence analysts. These are data analysts. All right. If you scroll down a little bit more, you'd find the project managers, the project managers, but not your conventional project managers, your agile project manager. Okay. So when you start to look at the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs reports, you see that all the 8 career paths we've listed here would be found as the career paths that are in demand today and would keep on growing in demand. Okay. And of course, like I said, we distilled across the different regions. If you look at the UK, for example, and I'll just come here and I'll show you how you can check for yourself as well. So the links are there. This website is the gov.uk website, so everyone has access. So if you go to the UK government website, you'd see where you have the skilled worker visa, eligible occupations, and codes. Okay, so what this shows you are the eligible occupations for the skilled worker visa. Okay, and I'm just going to highlight a few. Let's highlight the cybersecurity professionals, the business analysts, and so on and so forth. So let's scroll down. I'm going to scroll all the way down to 2135. I'm also going to list the codes on my slide. Okay, so you can all check, and I'll show you how to even check yourself if you don't have the codes. So if you see the 2131, these are your IT project managers. IT project managers, not your conventional, traditional project managers, but IT project managers, and they're your agile project managers. These are project managers that work in the IT space, the tech ecosystem, and manage the delivery of products and applications within that space. Now, what I want you to focus on is the categorization, higher skilled. Now, when the UK, when the Immigration Advisory Committee said, the Migration Advisory Committee, the MAC, said that you have limitations for certain type of job roles. Some jobs are no longer eligible, and they raised and increased the required qualifications framework to a level 6. A level 6 means that that job must have the complexity level of somebody who has a bachelor's degree, a minimum. It doesn't mean that you must have gone to the university, but the complexity of the job can be carried out by somebody who has the complexity of a bachelor's degree.
Of
Okay.
course.
So now you struggle if you have a job within RQF5, RQF4.
Mhm.
It means you're not eligible, or you might be eligible for sponsorship, but with some limitations. So when you
Okay.
see higher skilled simply means this job is an RQF level 6 role, and it comes with no limitation for sponsorship. So there
Okay.
are three categorizations: higher skilled, medium skilled, and ineligible. So if you scroll down to some certain extent, you'd see where you have ineligible as part of the categorization. So when you look at the IT project managers, it is higher skilled. It means that it is eligible for sponsorship for the skilled worker visa with no limitation. Same with the IT business analyst role.
Mhm.
Here you'd see your data engineers, your IT business analysts, your data architects. And if you look carefully, these are the same career path that you'd find in the World Economic Forum, the same career path that I've listed on my slide as high demand career path. Now, if you're not sure of the code and the career path you want to move into, still on the same website, you have a tool for you to check.
Okay.
Okay. And one mistake people make, Lulu, is like I mentioned earlier when you asked me about my career trajectory. Okay. I learned data analytics, but I've worked as a management information systems analyst. So it's a derivative of data analytics, but is more focused on generating reports and analysis for the owners of the company. So
Yes.
that's why the job role, the job title is a bit different. But does it
Different.
mean that it's different from the data analyst role? No. All right. So I'll give you an example. As an information analyst, you're a data analyst. As a business intelligence analyst, you're a data analyst. Okay.
Okay.
So what I
Okay.
want you to do is if we type business intelligence analyst, for example,
Okay.
which is a job that can be done by anybody who has, studied data analytics. And I search for the code, I would see the code right here, 2431. Okay. And
Okay.
you'd see a score of 84%. That's the significance. Um, this is something showing you the level of what's the word now?
Importance rating.
Yeah, the level of rating of this particular job. So if you get a job that says business intelligence,
Mhm.
it means that it falls under this code of 2431 to a magnitude of 84%.
Wow.
So if you're applying to the home office, the job code is important to be sure that it qualifies. So this is the job code to choose. I would not choose this of 34 because it has a very low significance to that
Okay.
job itself. All right. So I'm
And
going
is
to
it
pick this
color
code.
coded? Is it a
It's
right
color coded,
rating?
yes, absolutely. So you want to focus on the one that is green.
Green.
That shows the actual code of that job. So as a business intelligence analyst with the code 2431, I know that if I check for 2431, I want to look for, is it higher skilled, medium skilled, or ineligible? You'd see ineligible right here. Okay, this is one of the categorizations. So let's go to 24324. Let me check again. It was 2434, correct?
Yes.
2434. Okay, so you'd see what business and related research professionals. 2434 is the intelligence analyst, and it is
Mm.
what higher skilled. So we
Skilled.
looked at all of these before we came up with the 8 career path that are eligible for sponsorship and also have a high demand and so on and so forth. Okay, so you can see the steps we took, Lulu. Job
Very
analysis, job board
impressive.
analysis. We validated that using the World Economic Forum, and then we looked at the different regions: the UK, the US, Canada, for accelerated pathways to provincial nominee programs, that ensure that these career paths are eligible for sponsorship. And these are the 8 career paths you want to focus on.
Okay.
Now, how do you learn the skills to get into any of these area? If you want to become a data analyst, how must you learn? And this is where we get a little bit more detailed.
Mhm.
How did Patrick get that job? Civil engineer today, He's an analyst with McLennan in a company in Poland, helping them analyze data. How did Judith get a job who was a carer, but now she's a business analyst? How did she learn? All right. So, what I'm going to do before I show you how to learn the skills, because how you learn determines if you will get a job or you know how to do the job. I want us to listen to William,
Okay.
okay? And then I'll come back to show you. So let's
Okay.
listen to William very quickly because it's always great to hear from people who are
Yes.
trying to do the things or who have achieved the things you are trying to achieve. All right. So I'm going to play this video. It's a one minute, sorry, it's a 1 minute video. So I'll just listen to William and
Sure.
learn, pick one or two things from him on how he was able to transition.
Okay.
Hi, my name is William Patrick. I first heard about Tenalytics when I was searching for an online program to build my tech skills and transition into a tech role. So a friend of mine recommended Tenalytics for me via LinkedIn, and I decided to give it a try. My experience as Tenalytics was outstanding. The live classes were engaging, the project were hands-on, and the mentorship section gave me the exact guidance I needed at the time. Also, the CV and drop-in section helped me to polish my presentation skills and my interview skills, and everything felt practical and relevant. So after the completion of my program, I landed a role as a strategic analyst in a financial company, and I can tell you that Tenalytics played a huge role for my current job right now. Now, what I'm using in my current job is exactly what I learned in Tenalytics, down from creating dashboard in Power BI and Excel, as well as using SQL, how to present my data, how to generate insight and present those data to stakeholders as well. And I also tell you, if you have the commitment to joining Tenalytics, I did say you should go for it. Don't think much about it. Don't think about the money is so expensive and all that. But I believe me, you get the value for your money. At the end of the day, when you get this tech role, you'll be happy for yourself that, oh, Tenalytics is the real deal. And finally, I want to say a huge thank you to Tenalytics for guiding me all through my learning process down to me getting a job. So I really appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. Cheers, Tenalytics. Bye.
Amazing.
Absolutely. So one thing you would get to realize, like I mentioned earlier, Lulu, William was very, very participatory in class. He would ask all the questions. He joins classes. He worked on all these projects, and he was very serious with making the transition. So that's a key ingredient to you succeeding. It doesn't just fall on your lap at the end of the day. You must put in the work, just like William did. And we saw he was super excited making the announcements after he got the job. Okay, so this is William right here. You can see him,
Wonderful.
absolutely phenomenal, and posting with the signage Marsh McLennan as a strategy analyst. So how do you learn the skill? Because like I said, how you learn determines if you would land that job or not. And this is where many people make the mistake. Like I said, I made the mistake myself. I did all the things you can think of. I did the Udemy's, I did the Coursera's, I did all of that, but I struggled. And the reason was the focus was 100% online learning. Okay. 100% remote learning, but that did not help me. I was watching videos. There was nobody to reach out to when I was stuck. Sometimes something so simple would take me 2 weeks to resolve because there was no human being I could reach out to say, hey, this is my screen. Let me share my screen. Let me show you what I'm facing, the problem I'm facing. Show me how to resolve it. The best way to learn, the way William learned, the way Judith learned, and over 3,000 other people that made the transition, the way they learn is number one, learning in a project based environment. I spoke about that earlier. And this simply means learning by doing the real work. So you want to get a job as a data engineer, you must do the job of a data engineer to get that job,
Of
to
course.
learn the skills. Okay. And so the question is, how do I learn by doing the job? And I'll show you exactly practically how that works. Okay. And the second thing is you must show your work. You can learn and be the best in your own little corner, but how would people find you? How do they know you are good enough to get this job, and so on and so forth? So it's a two-way thing. When you want to learn the skill, you must know how to learn in a project-based environment and know how to showcase your work. And I would explain this using a practical case study of two gentlemen. The first one is Mawutin. Mawutin was he had a background in chemistry, experience as an operations manager. He joined data analytics at Tenalytics. Today, Mawutin works with the NHS in the UK on full visa sponsorship as a pathology data analyst. That was the first time I heard that job role,
Very
pathology
interesting.
data analyst. Absolutely. Now, how does an operation manager with a background in chemistry move to a pathology data analyst role? That's a big question. Okay. Here comes Pavel. Pavel was a teacher back in Cameroon before he moved to the US. He also joined our data analytics program. And what does Pavel have in common with Mawutin? Pavel today is a healthcare data and reporting analyst. So, two professionals who had no healthcare background, but both work in healthcare as pathology data analysts and healthcare data and reporting analysts. How did this happen? Project based learning. Okay. So, how did they learn to do the job of a healthcare reporting analyst, a pathology data analyst that enabled them get this job? Remember, project based learning is you simply learning by doing the work. So, I'm going to take you to Pavel and Mawutin's class, that real class, the classroom, and how they learned. And I would also show you their LinkedIn profiles as well. Okay. So let's first go to the classroom. Now, looking at Pavel's classroom, when you learn Excel, a lot of people learn Excel by learning the form. Do you know how to use Excel, Lulu?
Yes, I do.
Okay. You know how to do your sum, your countif, your
Yes.
if, and all of that. Brilliant.
Pivot
People
tables and all that.
pivot tables and all of that. People learn Excel by doing that, okay? But when you want to get a job as a healthcare data reporting analyst like Pavel, you must learn how to use Excel to solve problems within the healthcare space. So this time around, you're not learning healthcare, but you are learning how to solve problems within healthcare. And the tool and technology that would enable you solve that problem is Microsoft Excel. So the tool comes in second. Knowing how to solve the problem, how to break the problem into multiple parts using different frameworks and techniques like the McKinsey meeting model, getting to the root cause of a problem using techniques like the 5 whys and so on. Knowing the right tool and technology to use, that comes first before the
Yes.
tool actually comes in. So I'll show you the class. This was one of their Excel classes. Okay. When you go to the class material, every class is project based. Okay. You would see a case study for a hospital, healthcare related case study. So this is St. Luke's Hospital. All right. Now, what we do is, of course, the data is changed. The name of the name of the organization is also changed for data privacy. So you cannot trace any part of the data or anything to a real organization for
It's
data
good that you
privacy.
just put that disclaimer
Absolutely.
there.
Absolutely. So you read about the organization, the introduction, you understand the problem that they face. What's the problem really? So this particular hospital they're struggling with operational inefficiencies. Okay. They have issues with their emergency room and so on. When people book to see the physician, to see the doctor, it takes forever to get them into the ER or and so on and so forth, simply because they have data in silos. How do you then come in as a data analyst to solve this problem? Okay, so you look at the rationale of the project, the aim of the project, what you are meant to do, the data dictionary, and you start solving this problem using Microsoft Excel. That's how you learn how to use Excel to solve problems, not learning Excel as a standalone tool or a standalone technology. Now, when you learn like this, and the classroom, I'll show you what the classroom looks like because every live class is also recorded. So if you've missed that class or you want to go back to refer to certain things in the class, you can always go back to the recording to see
So do you have the
exactly what
data?
happened.
You have the students keep the raw class information for a period of time.
It's lifetime access.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so you have live once you are you're part of the Tenalytics community is lifetime access. So, and I'll give you an example. There was a lady who just got a job recently this year in 2025. She moved from a role to a new role. I'll show you her profile on LinkedIn. In 2022, she moved from Nigeria to the UK. She joined us at that time, our HR analytics program, and she got a job as a HR analyst. Now she needed to move to a new company, still within the HR space. She was able to book an interview prep session with us, and we prepped her for that interview from our references to everything. We supported her, and today she's landed another job this year. I think sometime in January, if I can remember correctly. She joined us in 2022, but she still received support from us in 2025.
Wonderful. So it's like a
Absolutely.
lifetime warranty almost.
Absolutely.
Please,
Absolutely.
while you've just said that, for those of you who've only just joined, I know that we've been going on for a while. Sorry to interject, but
Yep.
I have pinned a link to the community where if you click on, you will be sent to a community of people who can help. So
Yep.
feel free to click if you're watching this on replay or if you're live. It's a thing that, I feel like I need to be in that community as well right now. So if there's anybody watching
Yeah.
and you believe that you want to enhance your career, please, and ask any questions, say hello. Let's keep this interactive. Sorry, you can go
Yeah,
ahead.
absolutely. So this is a live class, and this is where that project for the hospital, you'd work with a real person. You can see your facilitator, and you solve this problem together in a live session. So this is a session where you can stop and say, hey, I just tried what you did. I did not get it right. Can I share my screen? And you get real-time feedback. So this is not you going back and it takes you another 2 weeks to get a problem solved and so on. No. So this is a live classroom with everything happening. You are following the facilitator, following your instructor, and you're doing things together and you solve that problem. Now, when you solve this problem for that hospital, it becomes a part of the work that you've done. And that's the beauty about project-based learning. It becomes a part of the work you've done. And when you learn working on different projects across different sectors like that, you start to build your experience.
Yes.
And remember, you don't just build your experience working on project-based in a project-based environment. You must also showcase your work. And that's where your portfolio comes in. I'll show you an example of a portfolio. If you have more time, I'll show you more portfolios and so on. So this is a portfolio of a data analyst. Her name is Victoria Uchemadu. So again, one of the projects she completed in healthcare. So when you solve that problem in class, it doesn't just go to waste. It doesn't just become a part of your knowledge. It becomes a part of the things you've done. And remember, like I said, you must have a way to showcase.
Okay.
And that's your portfolio. So if I come to this is a portfolio, for example, this is an analysis for an emergency room of Deep Care Hospital, helping the hospital improve their patient wait times, reducing their patient wait times by optimizing their processes. But how did we do this? You come here, anybody can come click on this, and I can see what Victoria did using Tableau to solve this problem. The beauty about this is it is also interactive. So I can deselect everything. If I want to see data for only Q4 or Q3, I can click and it responds to my interaction. The same way I'm doing this is the same way a potential employer would interact with what you've done. And they get to see how good you are. So the link to this portfolio would be on your CV and also on your LinkedIn profile.
If I was an employer, I would
Yep.
definitely be employing somebody who has a portfolio.
Absolutely. That's one of the best ways to show that you've done that job before. So
Yes.
people are not just going to listen to what you have to say, what you can do. What have you done? Can I see what you've done? Don't just tell, but show me.
Evident.
Absolutely. Evidence that you can do the job. So I said I was going to show you the gentleman, Mawutin, who works with the NHS.
Yeah.
Mawutin, fantastic professional in Middlesbrough, and you'd see his job with the NHS. He's been with them for the past 2 years as a data analyst. The actual job title in the reference is pathology data analyst. I think I have the JD somewhere and I'll show you. And like I
Okay.
said, it is also when I mentioned that it is easier in the real world than it is on paper. It looks more difficult on paper. But when you look at Mawutin's job description, how he got this job, you'll be surprised the level of skills and tools they wanted from him. They wanted only Excel and I think SQL. But he
Okay.
learned Excel, he learned SQL, he learned Power BI, he learned Tableau, Microsoft Fabric, problem solving. He learned a whole lot more that was required to get this job. So
Wow.
he was well prepared and ready
So
to
there's
jump
no
into this role.
excuse, basically. You cover
Absolutely.
all aspects.
Absolutely. So that's Mawutin. And of course, the other gentleman, the Cameroonian, who is now a healthcare data and reporting analyst, Pavel. This is Pavel's profile. Again, you both worked at Analytics. Never forget that. I would explain that and what it means and why it's important. And if you go to Pavel's profile as well, you'd see worked with Analytics. He started this role in March 2025, working with the Arizona Community Physicians. You'd see what it does is a healthcare data and reporting analyst, a teacher who is now a healthcare data and reporting analyst. Mawutin was an operations manager.
Okay.
And how did they learn? Project-based learning. Very important. All right. So project-based learning, never forget that. Write it somewhere. So if you're learning and you're just watching videos, you're doing it wrong. If you're not working on projects, doing the real job, you are doing it wrong. If you don't have evidence for the work that you've done, you are doing it wrong. All right.
I hope
So
you guys are listening. And those of
yep,
you who are joining, I cannot see you, but I know you can see us. Just say
yep,
hello if you're
yep.
watching and if you're a viewer. Sorry to interrupt.
That's fine. Totally fine. So again, that's the best way to learn. Now, when you've learned the skills, you know how to do the job. So on day one, when you're hired, you know what to do. And I've interacted with so many people. They have certifications. Somebody told me the other time, Adeza, I have PMP, I have CBAP. That's the certification for the business analyst. I have PMP certification, but I'm scared to go for interviews because I've never worked before as neither as a project manager nor as a business analyst. So I don't know what to say when I get into the room. And that's the fate of so many people. They have all the certifications, but they don't know how to do the job. So, like I said, if all you've done is certification, it's not a proof of knowing how to do the job. It's good sometimes, but I always say that certification comes after you know how to do the job, and that's just a feel good to kind of boost your profile, and it's just your bragging rights. I can say, oh, I have this, I'm a data analyst with this and all of that, even though in the grand scheme of things it really doesn't do much for you. All right. So you have all the skills. Brilliant. How do you then show employers that you're the best candidate for the job? How do you gain the experience that you need? Okay, project-based learning is one way to gain the experience. And I always like asking this question, and I'll ask you, Lulu, and the audience also listening. You want a couch, and you're considering two people. You want to buy a couch in your living room, okay? Carpenter A and Carpenter B. Carpenter A has a certification on the wall somewhere in a room that says, I went to carpentry school and I graduated with a distinction. Carpenter B has a showroom of where you can walk into the showroom, touch, feel the couches, see the quality, the finishing, different colors, and so on and so forth. Who would you be comfortable to trust to make your couch for you? Carpenter A or Carpenter B?
If you're watching and you want to give us an answer, put it in the comment section, or if it's a replay, feel free. But I know that I'll go for Carpenter B.
It's a no-brainer. Absolutely. I would go for Carpenter B anytime because I can see what you've done. There is evidence that you can do the job. The other guy, I might doubt it. Okay, yes, you have a distinction. You've never done anything before? What can you do? And so on and so forth. So this guy is going to struggle to get opportunities. But you see this guy right here would get a lot of orders, a lot of opportunities because he has evidence. And that's the role your portfolio plays in in showing that you are the right person for the job because you've done that job before. Okay. So employers want only two things from you typically. They want your skills, which is a given that you can do the job. You've learned the skills in a project based environment, and they want you to have experience. And when you put these two together, it is your competence. Okay. Your
Okay.
competence comprises of your skills and your experience.
Okay.
Okay. So now you have the skills. I showed you how to learn the skills. I showed you how Mawutin and Pavel learned in class by working on real projects and so on and so forth. How then do you gain experience? Yes, you gain experience one way by working in the projects you have in class, your project based learning. But then again, you have 2 months of internship. Every program we offer also comes with internship because what you learn in class and working on those projects to gain the experience to know how to do the job, you must also learn communication skills. You must learn collaboration skills, interpersonal skills, presentation skills.
Okay.
And that's what you get in your internship. So your internship for 2 months is with our sister company at Amdari. So Amdari operates out of London in the UK and Alberta in Canada. So you have that opportunity to list this on your CV as well, on your LinkedIn. So when you see people listing Tenalytics and listing Amdari as part of their work experience, this is where it comes. This is how it comes about. And
Okay.
when a recruiter sees your LinkedIn profile and they see that you're already on the job,
Yes.
they see you're already doing that job, they are more confident in you that you can do the job for them because you're already doing that job.
Good job.
Okay. So, and I'll speak about the, internship a little bit more as we move on. And finally, like I said earlier, you have to show evidence in a portfolio. So this is how you can gain experience without having to commute from Manchester to London to get into an office to actually do that job. You can do the job from your home, working on project based in a project based learning environment, joining the internship for 2 months, and of course showcasing the work that you can do. And that's simply what you have here. So it's an 8-month learning journey.
Wow.
And that's why I said it's no piece of cake. It doesn't just fall on your lap. All the people you see, and I'll showcase so many more, success stories. They didn't have to wait for 8 months before they landed their jobs. But this is not your get a job in 2 weeks or learn a skill in 3 weeks. No, it's intensive, immersive. You work with professionals that ensure that for 6 months you learn those skills. We start encouraging you to apply after the third month. And that's why you'd see some people getting jobs after 3 months, simply because if I'm meant to learn Excel, Power BI, just to use this to illustrate, SQL, and so on and so forth. Okay. But now I have learned Excel, I've worked on so many projects, and I see a company, I see an organization, the NHS, recruiting for a role, and the core tool or technology is Excel. Would you advise me to apply, or do I have to go learn the other tools before I apply to that job? No, I don't need to learn the other tools. I would apply to that job because they
Yes.
want somebody with a specific set of skill, which I already have. And that's where we advise our participants to go ahead and apply to jobs, even though they haven't completed the program. Looking at the job requirements, seeing the one that fits their set of skills at that point in time, and go ahead to try to get those jobs. So 6 months learning, 2 months internship, and it doesn't matter where you are. There is a class that fits your time zone. So if you're in the UK, for example, your live classes happens on Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Okay. Is this fixed?
Yes, it's fixed. 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturdays. So
Okay.
your Saturdays when you have your live sessions. Every other day, you are on the LMS. I'll show you what the learning management system looks like, the LMS. All
Okay.
right. If you are in the US or you are in Canada, a different time zone, you have a class from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Time.
Okay.
All right. Now, the advantage of those in the UK or those in Nigeria or those within Europe, the same similar time zone,
Mhm.
I can join the class for those in the US or Canada, which would roughly be in the evening, my time,
Mhm.
6 p.m. to 9 p.m. If
Mhm.
I'm not available in the morning, say I'm not available 11 a.m. in the morning, I can
Mhm.
join the class for those in the US or Canada. And I have that flexibility
Ability.
to move across classes. Then every other day, you are watching videos on the learning management system. So it's a self-paced, learn anywhere, learn anytime at your own convenience. So
Wonderful.
what people do today is they only focus on this self-paced learning. They buy a course and at
Wonderful.
their own convenience they watch videos and all of that, but that's not the best way. It
Mhm.
is part of the process, but you need to have a reputable organization working with a professional who is
Mhm.
on that job, who
Mhm.
has a minimum of 5 years experience on that job,
Mhm.
showing you how to also get into that role and learn the skill. That's where the live classes come in, and
Okay.
that's why they are very, very important. Then you have your mentorship sessions. If you listen carefully to William, he spoke about mentorship. Okay. The
Mhm.
mentorship sessions usually happens on Thursdays. And the
Mhm.
reason why mentorship is important is simply because I have gotten burnt in the past myself when trying to transition. There were certain things I did not. I learned a skill, a particular tool. It's called MongoDB. MongoDB is a no SQL database.
Okay.
Okay. MongoDB. I
Okay.
have never used it one day in my professional life, and I wasted time learning it. And that was simply because there was nobody to tell me that, hey, Adeza, you're wasting your time
Time.
to get started in this career path. You don't need MongoDB.
Yeah.
Learn the core skills, learn what you need to get
Mhm.
that job. And
Mhm.
that's why mentorship is important. And I'll show you the mentorship platform and so on. So you have a very good idea of what it looks like, a typical mentorship session. And like I mentioned earlier, Lulu, you have lifetime access to the platform.
That's
Okay?
amazing. That's amazing. What I've seen so
Absolutely.
far, and sorry, I'm not going to cut in, but just
Yes.
to the thing that I've picked on.
Yes.
Again, I am in the field, so not necessarily everything you've talked about, but I work within the field. And the thing that I notice the most is
Yes.
most people bluff their way
Yep.
or they suffer from imposter syndrome. Those are the two things.
Absolutely.
It's a very wide spectrum. You're either bluffing
Yep.
to make it and you're being
Yep.
apprehensive and maybe not getting a
Yep.
job, or going for it and then feeling like I don't deserve this because you don't have life on experience. And if that is
Absolutely.
what your program can do, it'll take away the aspect of uncertainty and the aspect that creeps in of imposter syndrome, and it'll put you ahead of your peers
Yep.
who have maybe not been in the same similar to you, but the difference is that you have experience, you have a portfolio, and then
Yep.
you have the mentorship. So it's
Yep.
just echoing what you said, not to take anything
Yep.
away from what you said, but just saying that honestly, on a personal note, I'll say we should really consider what we do and the knowledge that we impact ourselves with. Because the
Absolutely.
cry I have every minute in my inbox, people saying they cannot get jobs. You don't have to be in the UK to make it. There are
Absolutely.
remote jobs, and IT
Absolutely.
is going nowhere. Sorry, I've taken
Absolutely.
your thunderball. I'll let you
That
talk.
that's totally fine. You're spot on, absolutely spot on, Lulu. Now that you mentioned imposter syndrome, I think I just want to show something very quickly, the mentorship session and why it's also very, very important. Okay. So this is a class currently ongoing, the full stack data science program. Okay. I'm
Okay.
going to come back to walk you through what all these things mean, but I want to
Okay.
go to the mentorship session. Okay,
Okay.
mentorship. All right. So the most recent session, mentorship was how to search for jobs. okay, across different regions. But then again, you'll see where you have overcoming imposter syndrome. Very important. All right. You mentioned that. So I said, okay, let me just, touch on that. So
Wow.
what are the strategies to overcome imposter syndrome? Number one, you have to know your stuff. Okay, that's number one. Preparation. You have to know your stuff. You can't bluff your way, you can't fluff your way through it, like you said. So if you don't know your stuff, imposter syndrome sets in, first of all. Okay, so we have sessions right here. I think this session was taken by Femena, the co-founder, if I'm correct. I'll just check very quickly. So you have absolutely. So this was a Femina session where showing you what you need to do and so on to overcome imposter syndrome. And
Wonderful.
you have the recording. If you miss this session, the recording is also there for you. Okay, so you
Can
can
I
come
just
back.
ask you a question? Sorry to
Yes,
interrupt.
go ahead,
Is it
please.
possible to have, maybe you're going to come to that soon,
Yes,
but irrespective of the field that you are
yes,
in, there's certain mentorship help that everybody will gain from? Do
absolutely.
you have a stack or a suite of offering that is not necessarily for the full shebang that you can pick and choose? If, for example, I don't think I need help in my career, but I might need help to be more confident. So
Yeah.
are you able, if you join Tenalytics, to cherry pick what services you want from you? You can answer that later, but it's just something that I thought I'd bring in the mix.
Oh, yes, absolutely. We do have, for example, if I get your question right, let's assume I'm not thinking of moving into a new role, but I just need to speak to I need to have a mentor that I'll have access to every single week, for example, or every day. I have somebody I can speak to. I have somebody who can guide me. If I have an interview, I have somebody who can prep me for that interview. If I
Yeah.
need to know how to presentation skills, I have someone that can help me. Yes, we do have that. Okay. Yes, it's a separate package. So all you need to do is for those who books the clarity session. Okay,
Okay.
so there's a Calendly link. I think the link would also be in the
In
description of this video. You click
Yeah.
on that, you book a free session with us, and then you come in, ask all the questions, and then we guide you on those different packages. And if it's not the entire, I'm talking about the entire package in this
Yes.
session, but if you want specifics, would show you how you can get into that and what it takes to also get into that,
Thank
if
you.
that makes sense.
Thank
All
you.
right.
That makes a lot of sense.
Fantastic. So I want to talk about the importance of, or hearing it from somebody else, the importance of practical project-based learning and why that and how that fits into your ability to do the job. This is Ramat. Ramat was a customer service professional with British Gas in the UK, but she wanted to leave customer service. Okay. So she came to us, she joined our business analysis program. We helped her with all the things I've shown you so far, and I'm still going to show you. And she landed a job as a business architect with the NHS on full visa sponsorship.
Wonderful.
Okay. I want you to listen to Ramat and how the project she worked on helped her when applying to this job. Okay. And I'm going to show you Ramat's, LinkedIn as well. Fantastic professional, doing amazingly well for herself. Okay. But let's listen to Ramat very quickly and let's hear from Ramat, from the candidate who wants to get a job or who has gotten a job, or the person watching this video thinking, how does all of this play into me getting that job eventually? Okay. So let's listen to Ramat very quickly. It's a long video, so let me see. I'll play just a bit because of time. Okay, so I'll play maybe 2 minutes where she spoke about the project and all of that, and the link would always be on my slide. So if you want to go back to listen to the entire interview, you can always do that. Okay,
Okay.
so sit back, relax, enjoy. So that's Ramat in the middle. That's me at the right hand side, and that's the person doing the interview at the left.
Okay. The practical, you have like a group where you practicalize all the things that you've been taught. They give you a project, they assign a project to your group, and then you partake, you do all the things that you would
actually do on the job, you do it with them. So that took about 2 months or so. But I tell you for a fact, I started immediately after my first month with them. I already knew what I wanted. So I started enrolling for jobs and all of that. I'd not even finished my practicals before I got a job as a business analyst in one of the trusts in NHS. And that's where I still work currently. So it was that good. It was that good. All the things they taught us, all the practicals that I started to learn like bit by bit, because I already mentioned that I haven't even finished. So that was what I put into the CV, into my supporting statements. And the good thing, what even crowned it up for me was when I got the interview, I told Adeza about it, and then there was a proper prep, like interview prep that I did that just prepped me comprehensively for the job. He was one of the facilitators in charge then that just prepped me, and then that was it. I got in there and smashed it, and I got the job.
So that's Ramat. She got in there and she smashed it, like she said. Absolutely phenomenal professional. I'm going to show you Ramat's profile very quickly. Ramat works with one of the trusts in the NHS from a customer service role. So that's Ramat Bankole, doing very well for herself. Again,
Amazing.
you both worked at Tenalytics. You'd always see that featuring somewhere on the profile. And if you go to Ramat, she's a business architect with the Midland Partnership University NHS Trust.
Okay.
Before that, she was a customer resolution agent,
Okay.
and she had worked with us as a business analyst consultant. Okay. Now we call our participants consultants because you do the job. That's what you do. You don't learn the conventional way of just learning tools and technologies, but you learn how to solve problems using those tools
Yeah.
and technologies. Okay. So now that you know how to choose the right career path, you know how to gain the experience, how to showcase your experience, how do you then position yourself for success? Okay, where to apply, how to apply, and so on and so forth. So, one of the things we show people how to do on the average, people don't know what it takes to actually apply to get jobs. Okay, it takes about 267 applications on the average to land one offer, and
Wow.
not just any application, but tailored applications where you tailor your CV to the jobs you're applying to and so on. Quality applications. It takes about 267. I was speaking to somebody last week, Thursday, who wants to register for one of our programs, and he was telling me, I mean, he's in Canada, in what province again? Newfoundland and Labrador. And he said he's been applying to jobs, but he's not gotten any interview. He's so frustrated. And I said, how many jobs do you apply to every day? And he said, three jobs. And I laughed. Well, three can sometimes might not be bad if you know exactly what you're doing. But when you look at the required volume, the average number of jobs you should be applying to, it's way more than three. On the average, you should be doing about 10 jobs on the average per day, quality applications.
Yeah.
So once you know this, you know that it takes 267 jobs applications for me to get an offer. You know how to break your applications down per day, per week, per month, and exactly what you need to do. So that's where the mindset shift starts from. Then we also let you know that when you apply, you see a post and you apply to that job, and eventually you get an interview and you get that job. It's just 40% of how people get jobs. The other 60% are through referrals, are through networking events, and so on and so forth. Okay. So, how do you also tap into the 60% that you're not looking at the moment? So, and that's where we show you strategies to deploy. I'll give you one, for example, I always advise people, no matter where you are in Manchester, you're in Southampton, you're in Bradford, you're in Leeds, search innovation hubs, tech accelerators near me. Start from there. Okay, look for the ones near you and attend. Most of them, if not all of them, have free community events. Okay, there is one I frequent. I attend their Wednesday. On every Wednesdays, they have something they call community coffee. The
Okay.
community coffee is where tech founders, co-founders, other C-suite executives, HR directors, they come together, free coffee, free muffins, free bagels, and so on, and you network with professionals. Okay, and that's the opportunity for you to pitch what you can do. You get closer in proximity to the people that can actually get you that job. And we've had multiple people at Analytics get jobs this way. Okay, so that's one strategy: attending networking events, knowing how to pitch, knowing how to start the conversation, knowing what to say, and showing people what you can do. And you create connections from there that would lead to, okay, let's schedule an interview, let's have a
Yeah.
conversation. I have somebody who is looking for this role, looking to hire for this role. I'd
Mm-hmm.
connect you, I'd make a connection, and so on
Mm-hmm.
and so forth. That's
Networking. Networking.
Absolutely. It constitutes 60%. So if all you are doing is just applying, yes, you know how to tailor, you use the ATS, different tools to go past the ATS and so on. That's
Mm-hmm.
not enough. Okay. So that's where applying comes in. So we show you how to tailor your CV,
Mm-hmm.
quality applications, the hidden job market, tap into the paid and the hidden job market. And one of the ways we do this is everybody applies to the
Mm-hmm.
conventional job boards. They go to CV Library, they go to read.co.uk, they go to NHS jobs, and so
Mm-hmm.
on and so forth. LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Are there platforms that curate specific targeted jobs for me
Mm-hmm.
that I can leverage and get opportunities? Absolutely. So what we do as an organization is we pay to those platforms. We get access to those platforms. We scrape the jobs. We make them available to you to apply to. And I'll show you what that looks like. All right. So
Mm-hmm.
for somebody who is a part of Tenalytics, all you need to do is in one of your classrooms, you see where you have your important resources, extra resources. All you need to do is go there. If you scroll down a little bit more, you'd find where you have, let me see, job offers. So if I click on view more,
Mm-hmm.
I'll find job offers somewhere. So that's it right there. So when you go to job offers, you'd see the jobs every single Sunday. We post jobs right there. So
Okay.
this is 26th of October. This is today, Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Jobs have been posted. You see jobs that come with sponsorship.
Oh
You
wow.
get the absolutely. So we access those platforms. UK Visa Jobs is one of them. Visa Jobs HQ. These are platforms that are paid platforms, but they give you access to jobs that are 100% sponsored. Okay, so we get those jobs, we send them to you. You have the opportunity to apply. So you'd see, does it come with sponsorship? Yes, 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 yes. So every Sunday, you have this posted. This was posted today, 26th of
Wow.
October. This was posted last week, the 20th of October, and you'd see the jobs with sponsorship and all of that. So before you even go to the conventional job board, you start from here.
That's
And
amazing.
absolutely. And these are jobs that not everybody has access to pay or subscribe to a job board. Okay. So we get these jobs and it helps you get interviews a lot faster than your counterparts or contemporaries who are trying to do the same. All right. And of course, when it comes to references, we also got your back because one of the major challenges people also face, and they don't think about this until it is too late. If you're just like William, who was a civil engineer,
Mm-hmm.
but today he's a strategy analyst with a financial services company. The company would ask, these skills and these tools and this technology that you can use, where did you use them? Can you provide a reference? So there would always be a
Have we
background
slightly
check.
lost Adiza? If you're
Yes.
joining, sorry, we lost you briefly, just for a few seconds.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Am I back?
Yes, you're back. You're back. If you're
Okay.
joining, like the video and put any questions. Adiza is back.
Fantastic. So I was talking about referencing. Okay. For a lot of people, they don't think about this until it is too late. All right. So the organization would request for a reference. Where have you done this before? You used to be a civil engineer. Today, you are a data analyst. You can use Excel, Power BI, Microsoft Fabric, Tableau. Where did you use these skills? Where did you implement these skills? Which organization can vouch for you? And I've seen people lose jobs this way because they had no reference to provide. So part of the jobs you do with us forms a part of your reference, forms a part of your work experience. And that's why we can then provide you with a reference, because we can vouch for you to say, you've used these tools, you've used these skills, this is how good you are, these are your strengths, these are your weaknesses. You attend, you don't, miss, you join, you always attend, your in terms of your punctuality and so on and so forth. We can talk about that because you've actually done that with us. And these are the things recruiters want to hear. They want to see, is this the right candidate? What's the best way to manage this person? What are their strengths, their weaknesses? So when it comes to reference checks, we always got your back. So I'll give you an example of what a reference check looks like. This is a reference check. This was sent on the 14th of October. So about 2 weeks ago or thereabout, or last week. And this organization is simply asking, dear Mr. Adeza Suleiman, this candidate is being considered for a senior project manager. Okay, they've just gotten an offer for a senior project manager role, and they're saying, provide us with a reference. So you click on this link and provide a reference for this job, which is something that we do at Analytics. And if you look closely to the attachments right here, you'd see that this is from the NHS. Okay, so I always brag about this. We have over 80 alumni working with the NHS.
Wow.
Absolutely. You saw Ramat. Ramat she works with the NHS. Mawutin, the operations manager, who is now a pathology data analyst, works with the NHS. So we can vouch for you that you can use the skills, the tools and technologies, because you've used them with us and you've done those, different jobs. And everything I've said can be summarized into these 3 different blocks. Number 1 is learn. Okay, the career path you choose determines if you get a job. And focus. Don't dilly-dally, jump from one to the other one, and so on. It's easier to climb the mountain if you take a straight path. So choose one career path, focus on that career path, and get in. All right. So once you've learned in a project-based environment, you know how to showcase your skills. The next is to package. Packaging is how you present and position yourself for the job. From your CV, we revamp your CV for you. If you don't, we ensure it's keyword optimized. So the first CV, we do that for you. Okay. So if you go to your classroom, one of the first things you'd see is upload your CV. You'd see where to upload your CV. Once you upload your CV right here, we get that CV, we revamp, we review, ensure it's keyword optimized, industry standard, and we show you how to tailor your CV. You see that right here, how to tailor your CV. Okay, so for every application you put out there, you know exactly what to do. Then you have your LinkedIn optimization. There's so many LinkedIn optimization. You see Adeza LinkedIn optimization. So that's where I'll show you categorically how to leverage LinkedIn. Okay, your LinkedIn, number 1, people take LinkedIn as a social platform. LinkedIn is a database of keywords. So how do you ensure that everything you have on LinkedIn has the keywords that enable organizations find you when they look for you? So these are the things we also show you how to do, how to create a portfolio. So this platform you can see right now is for everything live, all the live classes, the live sessions. Then you have your dashboard. So for those who join, you have access to a dashboard. This is the learning management system, the LMS. So if Lulu joins Tenalytics, for example, you'd see welcome back, Lulu. Okay, so this says welcome back, Adeza. So let's imagine I've registered for agile project management or data engineering or any of the programs, okay, I can simply click on continue learning, and this gives me access to watch the content of that video, the content of the program, and I can see exactly everything that needs to be done, work on projects, work on my case studies, and so on and so forth. Okay. This is just taking a while to come up. Let me just refresh and see. I think I'm having some lag or something with my network. You said you lost me earlier, Lulu.
Yeah, very briefly though, just for like a
Okay.
split millisecond.
Okay. I'm just going to wait a little bit. I think it's just my network it's just a little bit slow. So that's the dashboard. It gives you access to your classes and everything you need. This is your self-paced platform. Okay. So on a Monday, on a Tuesday, on a Wednesday, you don't need to join a live class. You can come to your dashboard and you work on projects, you watch your classes. These are self-paced sessions. I'm going to come back here. It's taking a while to load, I think because of some lag somewhere or so on. All right. So your mentorship sessions, your interview prep. If you have an interview prep, all you need to do on your dashboard, I think is back up now. If you have an interview, Lulu, you don't need to speak to anybody. All you need to do is come in here. You'd see where you have your interview preparation,
Mhm.
okay? And you click on what? Schedule appointments.
Okay.
You select the program you've registered for. Say I've registered for financial analytics. I click on that. I copy the link to the job that I applied to. I paste it here. What stage is the interview? First stage, second stage? It's the first stage interview. The job description, I copy and I paste it here. And then I can choose a date, any day, Monday through Sunday. I can book an interview prep. Okay. So I choose a preferred dates, the dates that I want. I upload the CV that I've used to apply to that job. And then I go to select instructor and I book a session. Somebody would jump on a call to prep you for that interview. So you don't go to the interview confused on what to do. You know exactly what to do. All right. And of course, we provide you with a reference. I talked about that. And finally, something we call on the job support, which is when you get that job, Lulu, sometimes you're working on a data migration project and the tool they have is a bit different from what you learned in class. So you need a little bit of help. So what we do is we provide you with support, of course, also taking into consideration data privacy issues and all of that. So we work with you to ensure that for 1 month, you're able to you ask the right questions, have a solid footing on that job. So you have on the job support as well. And the final stage is apply, which I talked about, show you how to tailor your CV. We work on your first CV for you, know the number of jobs you need to apply to, tap into the paid and the hidden job market, other strategies from networking to referrals, and so on and so forth. And these are the three building blocks that enable you land the job. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just to walk you through some success stories, how to start for those interested in getting started, and then we call it a day. Okay. This is Gad. His name is Gad. Gad was a mechanical engineer back in Nigeria. He moved to the UK for his master's. Today, Gad is a data warehouse and ETL developer with the NHS, following the same process. So he joined us last year in July, the data engineering program. He positioned himself, packaged himself, tailored his CV, joined all the mentorship sessions, applied to jobs, and eventually, in January this year, 2025, he got a job as a data warehouse and ETL developer. Less than 6 months after completing his program, he got this job with full visa sponsorship. Okay. Again, let me see. Gad Olegoyin. I always find it difficult to pronounce his last name, but that's Gad right there. And if you look at Gad's profile, one of the first things you'd see again is what? You both worked at Tenalytics. And if you go to Gad's work experience, he currently works with the NHS as a data warehouse and ETL developer. But on his LinkedIn, Azure data engineer with Tenalytics. Okay, so this gives employers the confidence that you are the right person for the job. You have Abigail. Abigail had worked over 13 years in Nigeria with the FIRS. She moved to Canada and she struggled to land a job. Abigail started working as a carer in Saskatchewan, Canada. She joined our business analysis program, and last year, January 2024, Abigail landed a job as a supervisor business services and data analytics with the government of Alberta after completing a business analysis program from a carer to a business analyst. You have Oyefikayo. She was in finance, had a background in finance. Oyefikayo did all the good stuff. She joined us in July, and by October, she had landed a job also in Ontario, Canada. In October, she got a job as a business intelligence analyst. And again, we had a full interview. You can always listen to Oyefikayo. You have Sharon. Sharon was a healthcare assistant with the NHS. Today, Sharon is a business data analyst. The beauty about Sharon's story is she joined us in March 2025, this year, and she got this job in May 2025. Again, this is where a candidate already had the skills even before she completed the entire program. She had the skills required by that organization at the point in time that that the organization needed to fill that role. She put in her application, we prepared her for our interview, and she got this opportunity. You have Toyin. Toyin was a pharmacist. Today, she works as a benefit analyst with the NHS. Okay, so from a pharmacy background, joined our data analytics program, did all the good stuff, and she got a job as a benefit analyst. Today, she's moved from a benefit analyst role to a pharmacy data analyst. I can't remember, but I think I'll just check very quickly.
Wow.
Toyin, yeah, absolutely phenomenal. Toyin Eleja. Toyin, let's see. Yeah, pharmacy data analyst. That's her current role, also with the NHS. But immediately she completed our program, she got a job as a benefit analyst with the NHS on full visa sponsorship. So now she's moved from this role to a pharmacy data analyst. So leveraging her prior experience in pharmacy, but not this time around, not working as a pharmacist, but as a pharmacy data analyst.
So she
Absolutely.
changed careers, but obviously still had some experience within her field.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the big question is, how do I get started? And there's so many more people, so many more. This is Ikmat. Ikmat was a stay-at-home mom for 2 years in the UK. She wanted to get back into the job market, joined our data analytics program, and she landed a job last year in January as an information analyst, also with the NHS on full visa sponsorship. Okay, you have Chukwuebuka is in Ireland. Chukwuebuka joined our cybersecurity program last year, September, and this year in July, he got a job as a security operations analyst after completing his cybersecurity program with us. And you have Abednego. Abednego is a Ghanaian, joined us last year in August 2024, did all the good stuff like I've shown you how to do. And in June this year, he got a job as a quality improvement analyst with the city of Winnipeg in Canada. We brought in Abednego when we celebrated our 5th year anniversary this year. And you see Abednego right there with myself. So that's me and Abednego. So he came to speak about his transition story, how he was able to do it. And that's Abednego right there. Fantastic professional who moved from doing so many things. He's worked as a teacher, he's worked in the warehouse, but today Abednego is a quality improvement analyst with the city of Winnipeg. Okay, this is Bukola, HR back in Nigeria, moved to the US. She's a HR business analyst today. You have Sonia. Sonia is the lady I spoke about earlier, Lulu, who joined us in 2022. Okay, and she came back for support for her interviews for her new role. Okay, let me show you, see if I can show you Sonia. Okay, so that's Sonia right there.
Okay.
Okay. So in 2022, you'd see you both worked at Analytics as
Okay.
well. Sonia came to us in 2022. You'd see that right here. HR analyst, October 2022.
Okay.
When she completed her program with us, she got a job with BAT as a HR business partner.
Okay.
Now she's moved into a people partner with a different organization. In getting this job in January this year, she also came back to us. We worked with her, prepped her for interviews, and so on and so forth. And now she's moved into a new role, higher pay, fantastic role, a fantastic opportunity. All right. And I'm going to end this with Esther. Esther was a carer as well, a care worker. She had a background in pharmacy. She came to us, joined our Agile project management program in April this year. And by July, Esther had gotten a job as a contract project officer with the civil service, just about 3 months into the program. So I'm going to, in terms of the testimonial, I'll show you where there are tons and tons. I can't showcase every one of them and how you can get access to more testimonials. Okay. So I want us to listen to Esther very quickly because she spoke about what made the difference. And sometimes, Lulu, what makes the difference is simply seeing somebody who has done it and realizing that you're not following the same path as that person who has done it. So I had a mentorship session where I shared my own story, step by step, what I did. And Esther told herself that, look, I think this is Adeza who has already made a career, out of this. And I'm trying to get started. And I'm not even doing half of what I should be doing. And that was the spark she needed. And she started applying to jobs. And eventually she got a job. So I want us to listen to Esther and we'll come back. How can I start if you want to start today? And we're going to wrap up in the next 10 minutes max. Okay. So let's listen to Esther very quickly. Again, as usual, I'm just simply going to play a part of the testimonial because of time. It's an 8-minute long video.
Okay. That's fine.
But I think I'll play just about 2 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, where she spoke about how she really got that job. I think that's what is relevant to anybody watching this video today.
When did I secure the job and what role did analytics play? Now, there was one particular mentorship session that I attended that Daisy gave us like a rundown on how, he entered the data field. And after that session, after that mentorship session, I told myself, Esther, you know what? You're going to have to start applying. You're going to apply like your life depends on it, because it does. So I started applying. At first, I wasn't getting any interviews, but then there was also the LinkedIn optimization session. There was through the LinkedIn optimization session. But beyond this thing, I also did my own research. I started researching on how to, because I'm based in the UK and personal statement is a big factor in recruitment processes here. So I knew that I have to invest in it. I utilized ChatGPT. I researched about what I was doing. I had to embody the case studies that we do in class as if they were my experience. I had to walk through them. It was studying. 2 months in, I secured an interview, and I remember sending an email to Sophia to say, I have an interview. And what they did, they prepared me like Elizabeth, because I did the Agile project and Scrum Master Tech 1. And what they did was to prepare me for this interview. They asked me likely questions. They interrogated me. And at the end of that interview preparation session, I had more clarity on how to structure my answers, on how to answer confidently, on how to use the STAR method, of answering interview questions. The first time I didn't get it, but then I knew that I couldn't give up because I won't give up lose. So it was series. Each time there is an interview, I come back to them. And one thing about them is that they're never going to push you away, or they're never going to sanction you and tell you, oh, that we have prepared you this number, a maximum number of times, so you should know what to do. They are not like that. So each time you come, there is always somebody willing to guide you through the process. They are very thorough. That's another thing. They are going to ask you to send them the job description. They are going to ask you to send them the CV that you used. They want to know, and they are going to ask you these questions like the panels are going to ask you. And then at the end, they are going to send you the recording of this interview session and ask you, give you corrections, and ask you to also reach out to them if there is something that you are not understanding. So after tons and tons of interviews and applications, I eventually secured a contract management officer role with civil service, and this job is significant to the path I am on because there is a lot of stakeholder management, there is a lot of project scheduling, contract scheduling. Literally, they are side by side each other.
So Esther went on and on and on. You'll have the link to listen to Esther if you want to. But you'd hear when, Esther was not confident to apply initially. She wasn't just applying and there's a study, I always tell people this, done by the Harvard Business Review, that shows that women generally, and this is not me, putting women on the spot, but it's just a study done by the HBR. Women would only apply to jobs when they feel that they are 100% ready for that job. Okay, so they make excuses for the companies. Oh, the companies know what they are looking for when they put the requirements. I don't have all the requirements, so why am I wasting their time? But on the other hand, men would apply when they meet 60%, 70% of the requirements. Okay, and that was part of my story. I did not meet all the requirements before I applied. My breakthrough into the data ecosystem, what I did, Lulu, was I showed the job requirement, the job vacancy, and then I put my profile, of course, without my name, side by side. So they could see my level of skills, my level of experience at that time. And I asked them, do you think these candidates can ever get this job looking at the requirements? And they all said, no, it's impossible. No, not one person said yes until I revealed that I was that candidate and I got the job and the reason why I got that job. So, and the reason for those thinking or wondering I did very well during the interview, phenomenally well. I think I've told that story so many times, but because of time, I can't tell the entire story. But at that time as well, the company was also looking for somebody who was very good in the use of SQL. Okay, because they were working on a data warehousing project, and all the candidates they had spoken to were not good with SQL. And that was how I stood out. And eventually I got that job. Okay, so that was what propelled Esther to go ahead and start applying. And here, Esther today got a job with the civil service as a contract management officer, and she's doing well for herself. Okay, so for those asking, how can I start today? I want to start. As I said so many things, I know the career path I want to join. For those of you that are not sure, a link to an assessment, or you also have the assessment on my slide. I'll show you the assessment. So if you download my slide, you'd have access to this assessment link. Now, it would take your past experience, what you like doing, your personality. Are you the type that want to be in front of people? Are you the type that want to lead projects? And based on that, churn out a recommendation to say that this is the best career path for you. Okay. Now, we don't tell you and insist on what you should do, but we guide you using this recommendation and looking at, you coming into the clarity to ask all the questions. We look at your past experience, we look at what you want to achieve, and then we guide you that, okay, this is the best career path to take. And then you make the decision. All right. So that's where it all starts from. you know the right career path you want to join. When do I then start? We have a cohort starting November 8th. We've had cohorts from January this year. So you'd see somebody like Esther who joined us in April, and she had gotten a job towards the end of July. I think she's going to be starting that role. She started the role already in August or thereabouts. Okay. So we have cohorts from January to December, but the next cohort starts on the 8th of November.
Okay.
Okay. And like I always tell anybody, you want to get into the new year on the right path. Those that will thrive and succeed in 2026 are the people that begin the journey for 2026 today.
Yeah.
You start preparing today. You don't wait to make New Year resolutions. You start today preparing for that. Okay. So if it's something you want to do, you know that you want to transition, you want to compete for the best jobs available, make the decision to start. All right. And one of the easiest ways to start is to book something we call a clarity session. All right. You don't need to make payments outrightly to join if you still have questions. All right. And of course, for those who are compelled, I'll show you how you can register, the discounts we have available for you, or you can just simply book a clarity session, jump on a call. Our career coaches would guide you on the right career path, and then you make a decision, you make payments to start. We have an amazing discount for your community, Lulu. So
Thank
for those
you.
joining from Lulu's community across any of the programs, from business analysis to data analytics to data science, data engineering, any of the programs, instead of paying $1,000, you get a 25% discount to pay only $750. And you still don't make the payments in one installment. All right. You have installments up to 5 monthly payments. So what it takes to start is just $150. So you start with $150 and you make your subsequent payments in the next 4 months. So it's 5 monthly payments. Your payment is broken down into 5 installments. The $150 is the equivalent of £123, which is something you spend in one trip to Tesco or Sainsbury or Primark, wherever. One trip, you spend £123. That's what it takes to make a shift in your career. All right. So that's how you can get started. I'll show you, for those who want to engage, the link to book the clarity session would be in the description. For those of you that are compelled, you want to start immediately, all you have to do, the link to making payments would also be there. You just click on this link and I'll show you how to do that.
I've just shared the program, the discount for
Fantastic.
viewers.
Brilliant. So again, like I said, the 25% discount is for the first 20 people to register from Lulu Diaries community. Okay. Registration for the November cohort ends on the 31st of October. All right. And this discount only applies to the November cohort. So if it's something you've always wanted to do, you've always wanted to get started, your journey to a high paying job starts here. Okay. So
Wonderful.
how do I start? How do I register? So as I'm walking you through that, Lulu, if you have questions, please let me know. So if you click on that link to make payments, it brings you here. Okay. So you'd see all the different programs you would like to register for. You can click on any of them. Say I want to register for data analytics, and I click on buy now. So it takes me to the payment page, and I can go ahead and start. I'll see the different costs, resources, the cost description, the curriculum, the course instructors, and so on and so forth. All you want to do is click on enroll now. All right. You enter your name, enter an email. So I'm just going to, let me get an email right here, and I'll just show you how you can go ahead and register. Okay. So you get an email. You enter a phone number. Okay. You read the terms and conditions right here and accept the terms and conditions, and then you create an account. So you create an account on the platform, and this is where you start to make payments. So once you click on create an account, you'll be required to provide an OTP for you to verify this. And I'll just walk you through that very quickly. So you see where you have your 25% discount applied. Okay, so you can choose the cohorts you want to join. You can start in November, you can start in December. Okay, so depending on where you're joining from, you can also select your currency. So if I'm joining from the UK, I'll select pounds, and you'd see the discounted fee, the equivalence in pound. Absolutely. So if you're making a full payment, a one-time payment, you get additional discounts. You get to pay only £585 if you're making a one-time payment or 2 monthly payments. Okay, but if you're making payments in 5 installments, you pay £123 monthly for 5 months. So you end up paying £615 within the 5-month period. And then if you're making one payment or 2 monthly payments, you get to pay 585. So you get additional about £20 discount additionally to the already existing 25%. Okay. So if I select 5, let's say I want to make payments in 5 monthly installments, £123 per month. I select that and click on apply discounts. Okay. So it takes me to where I have to impute my payments, my card details, your credit card or your debit card. Okay, so you see when you complete all your payments. So if I make my first payment today, the next in November, December, January, and February. Okay, now the beauty about this as well is, even though I'm making payment today on the 26th, but my salary comes in, say, on the 30th, you can change your next debit, date to come in on November 30th instead of 26th. So you do that on your dashboard after you've gotten in. All right. So I see everything here, the breakdown. I confirm my information is correct. I've read the terms and conditions, and then pay now. Okay. So here you just enter your card details. You enter all the details you need to enter, and then you go ahead and pay. I'll just show you that very quickly in 2 minutes, and then we take questions. Okay. So a card information, of course, this is not a real credit card number. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, full name, your region, your postcode, and then you make payments. Click on pay. So the moment you click on pay, you'd see confirms your payment is approved, and it takes you to your dashboard. But just before you go to your dashboard, you click on go to dashboard, you'll be required to confirm your email. All right. So go to your email, you'd see where you have your OTP.
Okay.
I'll just enter mine. Mine is 196677. Once you verify your email, you just answer a few questions, and then it takes you to your dashboard.
Okay.
So your country of residence, you enter that. So let's say I just put United Kingdom. Gender, your preferred schedule. So what time do you prefer to join classes? You select, I want to join 11 a.m. in the morning. How did you find out about us? Here you come and you search for Lulu. So you see Lulu Diaries right there. Select Lulu. If you have an alternative email, a Gmail, for example, you enter that right here. You already have a discount applied, so there's no need to enter a referral code. Why did you register? What made you register with Tenalytics? Oh, the testimonials are fantastic. I joined the session with Lulu Diaries. It was absolutely amazing. Just enter the reason why. How much time can you commit weekly? I always advise a minimum of 7 hours, 1 hour per day. So this is you. Imagine you going to the gym. You're not going to start lifting 50 kg, the heavy reps. You start with the small reps, but continuous implementation, continuous lifting of that small rep. That's what builds the muscle, builds the skills. So minimum of 7 hours is what I recommend. Okay. And when you are done with this, you simply go to complete setup. And once you've done this, it updates your profile and it takes you into your dashboard and you can start learning. Okay. It takes you into the dashboard and you can start learning. So you see the program you've registered for. You click on start learning. Okay. And you have access to watching your courses, watching everything you need to watch. And that's how you get started. Okay. So I'm going to take more questions if we have questions in the chat. And for those of you that have questions, after watching this video, when it is posted, book a clarity session, book your preferred time, preferred schedule, book a clarity session, and come have a conversation with our career coaches and let's guide you on how you can get started. Okay. So I think I'm going to take a breather at this point in time. Let's see if we have questions. I'll be very happy to take questions.
Wonderful. Thank you. It's been a journey, a learning journey from when we started. I had no idea how it would end, but it's been
Absolutely.
very up most of our streets. Most people be, if you watch it on replay, please, you can always put questions or you can reach out to book a free session to have a discussion. All that is going to be pinned. I've not seen any questions as of now. I've just seen people saying hello where they've been watching from here and there. But I'm
Okay.
conscious that it's gone on a while, so people have come in and come out. But it will be
Absolutely.
available, so any questions, they can direct that directly to you at that point.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So again, I said I was going to show where to get more testimonials, right? So I'm just going to do that very quickly. So for anybody watching, the best place to get access, if you want to get access to our testimonials, is find us on YouTube. So go to YouTube, search for Tenalytics. You'd find the Tenalytics YouTube page, and you have access to over 5 years of content that we've created, sessions like this, more sessions that we've had over the years. So you come here, click on the Tenalytics logo, make sure you subscribe so you always get notifications of new content, new videos. So you would see where you have playlists. If you go to the playlist, just right at the bottom, you'd see where you have alumni job success stories.
Okay.
Click on view full playlist, and this takes you to the full playlist. Okay, we couldn't talk about everyone. This is Ayobami. This is William. You heard from William. All the amazing professionals. This is Esther. You heard from Esther as well. This is Bukola, HR, got a job as a HR business analyst in the US. This is Chukwe Buka, cybersecurity professional in Ireland, and so on. You have over 160 something plus people that you can watch, learn from their experience, learn from what they've done, how they were able to make the transition. And I can tell you for certain that that would inspire you to also get your journey started. Okay. So if we don't have any more questions, I think we call it a day. But if you've seen what we've done so far, it doesn't happen by chance.
No.
You don't just stumble into the job. You have to follow a particular process, and commitment
Yes.
is an amazing ingredient that ensures that you succeed at the end of the day.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And I'll just put a last comment to say that most people only see the end results. They don't see the work and the process that
Absolutely.
goes to the end result. You see people announce their LinkedIn wins, and you don't know what has happened behind closed doors for weeks, months, sleepless nights.
Yeah.
And that is just testaments with all what you've shared today. So thank you so much for this opportunity again, and for the discount for all of my little but great community. I'm sure
Absolutely.
that we will have some more testimonials very soon from all of the success stories. So I want to thank those of you who've stood. I know that you've come in and out. A lot of you have been in and out, but it will be on replay. Again, put any questions, any comments, all the relevant links will be in the comment section as well. And feel free to reach out to me if you need to get more information, and I'll pass you on to Adeza in case you cannot use the link. But yes, thank you so much. I'm going to end this now. And I promise, hopefully, before you know it, we'll be hearing from us again.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I'll let you go have a break. Enjoy your Sunday.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's always a pleasure. Thanks for having me. Thanks
for coming, gracing us with your presence. Thank you. I'm going to end that now. Thanks, everybody. And I'll see you guys very soon. Bye-bye.